I'm Dominic DeMartini. I run a brand called Tough Genius, and the audience that I serve is the health conscious, busy parents that are looking to achieve certain aesthetic, performance, and longevity goals. And that the problem that I am addressing with that specific group is they always feel time constrained. Obviously, being a parent is crazy in and of itself and its own full-time job on top of working and or being an entrepreneur, small business owner. You always feel like there's time constraints. And I feel that a lot. So being time constrained, my audience and myself feel like it's really hard to prioritize health. And so a lot of times people that I talk with in my position and that are parents just feel like they'll just get to it down the road or when their kids are older. At that point, it's often not too late, but it's kind of like investing. You want to start to bank the good health early so that it can continue to compound, and just being able to keep up with your kids and stay active and be around for a long time.
How many kids do you have? How
Yes,
old
I
are they?
am. Just one, and she's 4 months. But we also have a dog. She's 5.
I know you've launched. So what are the first products in your pipeline?
The first one I have is a coffee protein. So it's real coffee. I'm a huge coffee drinker. I need it to get me going in the morning. And it also has protein in it for people that want to build muscle and burn fat, obviously, for the goals that I talked about for my person. And then it also has a clinically proven 2-to-1 ratio of theanine to caffeine. So that helps with sustaining the energy and not doing like the typical caffeine crash where you'll get a spike and then drop off after about an hour, and also reduces jitter. So it's a nice smooth energy ride that helps get things done and be productive. So it's something that I've started taking in combination, but it felt like I was always just opening up the supplement drawer and taking like 5 different things to achieve one goal. It's actually been really beneficial for me from a productivity standpoint to be able to sit down and feel focused and productive. So that's kind of where I got the idea, was just put everything into one, but also still have it taste like coffee, because I love coffee. I know a lot of people enjoy coffee, but that's my first product. I have 2 or 3 other ones planning that I want to do. I plan to continue to kind of gauge my audience as it continues to grow and see which ones that they want and like. The second one that I'm kind of starting to formulate is a creatine product that's focused around brain health. So I think creatine has historically just been looked at as like a weightlifting or bodybuilder supplement, but it's actually one of the most studied supplements out on the market, and they're tying it now to a lot of other just health and wellness outcomes rather than just purely muscle building. So it's actually really good for brain health and longevity there.
Protein and coffee. I would never have thought of that.
There's also, hopefully, once the original goes out, be able to have like different flavors of like vanilla latte or things like that. But it tastes like coffee. It's a little frothy, so it's almost like you have a little bit of creamer in there, but it's not sweet or overly creamy. It's still pretty coffee based.
How did you formulate your product?
I had the main ingredients and how much I wanted of that in the coffee. So my product has 13 grams of whey isolate. So I knew I wanted it to be a whey isolate for people that can tolerate dairy and don't mind it. Whey is the superior protein just in terms of like an amino acid profile and getting the most bang for your buck. And then I also knew just from like reading clinical research studies that theanine and caffeine ratio is kind of like the sweet spot, the 2-to-1. So I knew I wanted about 130 milligrams of caffeine and double that for the theanine. So I knew I wanted those 3 things in that amount, and then probably reached out to like 50 manufacturers or suppliers to see what I could get done, and took samples from 2 that were able to take the 3 main ingredients that I knew I wanted and put them into their own formulations with their teams. And then I've narrowed it down to 1 company. We're finalizing right now my 4th sample with them, really trying to get the flavor right, hoping to launch in the next month or 2.
What are you doing as far as audience building?
I went the challenge route. So I'm running a 30-day challenge right now in a Facebook group. It's a protein challenge. So it's a 30-day Crush Your Protein Challenge. The goal is everybody commit to a specific number that they want to hit on a daily basis. And then throughout the 30 days, every week, there's a different like mini challenge that's focused around health and fitness, but also always in the back of the challenge is the protein. So for the entire 30 days, they're working on that protein goal. But right now, that's the bulk of it. I'm running a small budget of Facebook ads to my pre-sale page. I'm going the pre-sale route. So that's coming in decently. I think the return there is close to 1-to-1 right now, which I'm okay with the break even. So yeah.
How many did you put into your group with the challenge?
Right now, I've got about 340 or so. From the challenge, I have about a little over 400 that had signed up, and the 340 or so actually made it into the group. So email list, just over 400 and about 340 in the group.
So what's your plan for launching?
I'm doing the pre-sale method. Like I said, the group, obviously, I let them kind of know just where I'm coming from. So right off the bat, I let them know that I run a business. You're not required to buy any of my products products to participate. And I kind of let them know, like, once we launch, like, you guys are pioneers, you get 20% off right off the go. So once I have everything ready and lined up from the supplier, I plan to pre-launch them. Going to continue the Facebook ads. And I've gotten so far 3 pre-sale sales, I guess, for it. And then once I also have that going, I've been working with a VA who's been reaching out to some influencers for me, going the influencer route. And I've got 5 micro influencers right now that have agreed to try the product and just give me feedback. So I didn't give them an ask to try to sell it or anything, just told them that I feel like they're my ideal person. I have this product, would love their feedback.
And are you going to sell on Amazon or just through your site to start?
I'll start on Shopify and probably will get onto Amazon quickly. I would like to have the audience pretty engaged and ready to go so that once I do launch on Amazon, I think it'll help boost me in the algorithm rather than having to pour a lot of money into ads. But Shopify to start and Amazon probably pretty quickly after.
Are you doing anything on social media other than the ads? Are you creating content to put out?
I've posted a few articles, just things that I've written, continuing to do that. I'm toying with taking those articles and making them into a YouTube channel. I really like YouTube. I think it has a good algorithm for getting new people discovered. Just haven't gotten around to the video part yet. I'm trying to keep it as simple as I can.
You're self-funding, is that right?
I am for now. It would be great to have an investor down the road, but right now it's all self-funded.
What is your day job?
Healthcare. So administrator, so on the business side of healthcare at an organization here in Cleveland.
Looking back so far in your journey, what milestones are you the most proud of?
Definitely getting like those first few members in the group. It was daunting getting those in there and then seeing them being engaged. So that's a huge milestone. And then getting that first Shopify notification pop up on my phone was really cool. I feel like I've been at this passively on and off for a couple of years. And so really decided to dig in and seeing that actually come to fruition with actual numbers. It's a really awesome moment.
How about long-term? What are you looking to do? Are you building to sell?
Long-term, I think I would want to do an exit. I'm really into this line and building it out. And I think it's a pretty underserved market. So my short long-term plan is to continue to build it out, get as many great products out there as I can and run it as the founder. But long-term plan, I'm down for an exit, but I do want to build it and get it to a point where there's really great products out there on the market for my person.
Do you have a shift that you've made in your mind?
Yeah. So I used to think I needed like 5,000 followers or 5,000 person audience, but now I know that you can start to take sales and get your feet off the ground with less than 500. So I have less than 500 people on my list and I've already started to take pre-sales. So I've gone from that. I'm never going to be able to do that because 5,000 people in an audience is intimidating to now. Once I get to 5,000, I can't even imagine what it's going to be. But being able to launch to smaller engaged lists is something that I really never thought was actually possible. Like I've read it and I'm like, yeah, okay. And that person probably did something special. But now I'm just like, no, like there's people out there that want what you're making and what you're creating and putting out into the world. So you just got to do it.
What would you say is your favorite thing about being in the 1%?
You see a lot of people going through the same journey and documenting it. So you're not just listening to these podcasts or watching these YouTube videos of these people that have had 7, 8, or 9-figure exits. And you're like, wow, okay, that's great. They're a unicorn or something like that. But being in the 1%, you see, because people post consistently and they ask very detailed questions and the nitty gritty and day to day of being an entrepreneur and getting going. And then you see them start to take off and you're like, wow, okay. So maybe that is how people get to the 7, 8, 9-figure exits. They start here. And so being in the 1%, you actually see it. Being in the Facebook group, listening to the calls, you really see the ins and outs of what it actually takes. And people are similar people, you know, that are really active in the group and similar. It's easy to get caught in the shiny object syndrome and keep scrolling YouTube or Facebook or Instagram and see all the ads that pop up for entrepreneurs like us. My feeds are filled because of things that I watch and read, and it's easy to get caught up into like the next guru's thing or the next guru's thing. But Ryan in the 1%, it's a proven path. It's easy to do if you just start to do it. And nothing's going to be perfect and it's not going to start perfect, but you'll evolve as you continue to go. You just got to do it. So where you're at, and then you see them start to take off and you know it's possible.
What would you say drives you?
My family, for sure. And I've always had a passion to start my own business and kind of leave my mark on the world. I enjoy what I do for a day job. I like being in healthcare. I like helping people. I feel like I can help a lot more on a larger scale being an entrepreneur. entrepreneur. And I've always loved the thought of just starting my own thing, being my own boss, kind of living life on my own terms.
Yeah, have you given thought to at some point, making the leap and you'd be full-time on this? Do you have kind of when I cross this mile marker, then I'll do that?
Once I can get at least 2 products up and going to 25 sales a day, I'll feel more comfortable. I always feel nervous leaving, and then if something were to tank with the business, but I spend most of my nights and weekends working on this. So I know it's not sustainable long term to keep both, but I'd say probably once I get to like that $20,000 or $30,000 in revenue a month or so.